So I saw Steven Crowder is back at it today. Thanks for joining me here with on the fish tank. All we're going to do is sit here and look at some bubbles and see what some fish might do. Glad to have you all here with me. If you don't mind, I'm going to have a couple of sips of beer while I talk about this. Crowder's changed my mind today. Absolutely beautiful to have him back out there. He is the man who started what Charlie continued, and it is a beautiful thing to see him doing it. So I appreciate it. I really, really do. The premise of his Change My Mind today was a beautiful one. The left is violent. Change my mind. And guess what? He is 100% right. Not that there isn't violence on the right, because there certainly is, and plenty of it. But the left has got the monopoly on this right now. They really do. They are running roughshod over us when it comes to violence. If I'm being completely honest, it's sickening, and it really is. If you look at all the acts of leftist violence, it's overwhelming. There have been a ton of left-wing attacks. A ton. Just since Charlie was assassinated. And they're continuing. I keep wondering what's going to happen next, what's coming next. And I know I've said that before. We have to remain vigilant. We absolutely do. We absolutely have got to stay on our toes. Because Stephen is right. When you look at the studies that the left is citing that says the right is more violent, newsflash, and Crowder points it out, in multiple videos, but he talks about it again today, that a lot of the stuff they cite as right-wing violence is actually left-wing violence. And I'll even bring up the fact that in neither of the two surveys or studies that the left is citing are any of the attacks on Steven Crowder logged as political violence. Oh, Bluey decided to enter the frame, y'all. That's one of the Lightning Blue Acaras. Yes, I'm the weirdo that names all his fish. Anyway, back to it. I also wanted to kind of touch on Pete Hegseth yesterday, his comments to, all the generals. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think there was more to that than what the public saw. I think there were meetings that took place after all of that are classified and nobody's talking about. I don't think all these generals showed up, got a lecture from Pete Hegseth, got on planes and left. Some of them surely did, but something's brewing, y'all. Something is certainly brewing. But I agree with Pete. Look, if you can't meet the basic standards for a male soldier, you shouldn't be a combat soldier. The standards need to be the same across the board in combat arms, regardless of your gender. Period. I have always said that, and I will continue to say that. My first few years in the Army, I was on a tank crew. An 85-pound heat round is not for the faint of heart. It's not something you can just sling around if you ain't got the strength to do it. And that's a position everybody on the tank crew should have to experience. And that's not saying some women can't do it, because plenty of women can do it. But if you can't do it as effectively as a man, sorry for you. You got to at least be able to meet the standards of a male soldier. I'm not saying you have to go max the PT test at the man's level. Okay? That's not what I'm saying. But you got to be able to meet those male standards. Okay, so back when I was in, and this was a long time ago, I don't even know what the PT test looks like these days, but back when I was in, male soldier 18 to 24, I think it was, or 18 to 22 or whatever it was, you had to, the minimum amount of push-ups was 42. For women, it was 32. That's a big difference. Well, if a woman's going to be on my tank crew, she needs to at least be able to do the 42. Now, you can even give her the points on her PT test on the women's scale. I don't care about that. She just needs to be able to meet those male standards. Because it's about survivability. You don't have to be able to run faster than the men. You don't have to be able to run as fast as the fastest man. But you need to be able to run as fast as the slowest man. You need to be able to meet those male standards. Whether it's infantry or armor, you need to be able to meet those standards. You absolutely need to be able to meet those standards. And for simple reasons. For the simplest of reasons. Number one, it's hard enough to hump 85 pounds of gear. Or 60 pounds of gear. Or however much my infantry brothers had to haul around. But you got to be able to meet those standards. You got to be able to perform physically at the level of the men. I know some of you might think that seems silly, but it's not. It's reality. I need you to be as fast as the men on the team. I need you to be as strong as the men on the team. Not as strong as the strongest man, but at least as strong as the weakest one. It's the only way to ensure that that everybody can keep up and that everybody is safe and that everybody has a fighting chance. But that's my thoughts on that. Now, back over to the military standards. I live in an area where there are some military people, and I see them walking around occasionally. And I see shitbags walking around outside with no headgear on. I don't know if that's changed in AR 670-1 since I got out, but I see it. People unshaved, looking like Joey Bag of Donuts walking around, and it's disgusting. Fat slobs wearing my uniform. I've been out of the Army for 21 years. 21 years. And I could probably still put on my Class A's and they almost fit. And there's a reason for that. 4 knee surgeries, I can't run like I used to. I can't work out like I used to. I live a life in constant pain. And there are days I just can't physically do it. But I'm not that much heavier than I was when I was in the service. Granted, some of that muscle mass has turned into fat mass, but still. I can still do some push-ups. I can still do some sit-ups. I could probably still pass the push-ups and sit-ups on a PT test. I'd be sucking wind after I passed, but I could probably still do it. And not at the current age limit, but where I was when I got out. Now, I don't know about the current PT test. I don't know what they do. I don't think it's push-ups, sit-ups, and a run anymore. But I could probably still go and pass that PT test. Just the way it is. We can't have fat generals. I didn't see fat generals when I was in the Army. Shaving profiles were few and far between. I knew like 3 guys in my unit in New York that had shaving profiles. Anyway, back to the left being violent. Talked enough about our military looking like shitbags. Here's the deal, guys. The left declared war on us. And it's a war that has been becoming increasingly more hot. And I'm not saying we need to pick up arms and fight against them. That's not what I'm saying, and that's not what I'm calling for. What I am saying is, for those of us who choose to speak out, we have to be careful. We absolutely have to be careful. We have to watch our backs, look out for each other, and look out for ourselves and our families. But we also have to continue to speak up. Anyway, I love y'all. God bless. Remember, I am a Christian. I am conservative. I will not be silent. I am Charlie Kirk.